We're here because Mr. and Mrs. Martin live in Columbia, but they dock their boat at the Bar Harbor Marina. Mr. Blake and his wife did witness the incident. That's why they're here. And I did advise the Blakes to come in today. This was severe animal attack to their dog. Mr. Martin was also injured during the incident. Hank is still here in our care and custody. He's a 2.5-year-old. We got him down as a hound type mix, brown male altered. Medical records are in there for Mr. Martin's dog. So on October 5th, 2019, Animal Care and Control received a call for assisting police for an aggressive pit bull and animal attack. Animal Care and Control officers DeSantos responded to the area of Bar Harbor Road. Upon the officer DeSantos' arrival, the attacking dog in question was secured inside Officer Whiteford with Eastern District Police vehicle with the owner standing by. The owner is a Timothy Wayne Markley of 207 Bar Harbor Road. Mr. Markley stated that he was not present during the incident and arrived on the scene once the dogs were separated. Mr. Markley provided Officer DeSantos with paperwork from Baltimore Humane Society where Mr. Markley adopted the dog Hank in May of 2019. The paperwork showed that Hank was current on his rabies vaccine. Mr. Markley was informed that his dog was being impounded under public safety and quarantine for investigation due to being at large and attacking another animal and biting a citizen. Mr. Dale Martin, the bite victim and the victim dog owner, stated he was walking his dogs when Hank appeared and attacked his dog. His dog Duke, a 18-month-old black and white flat-coated retriever mix, was injured. Mr. Martin stated that Duke had a puncture wound on his upper back and he is taking him to Rocky Gorge Vet Hospital in Laurel to be checked over. Mr. Martin further stated that his other dog, Sugar, a rusty gray, brown, black terrier mix, was not injured in the altercation. According to police and eyewitnesses on the scene, 2 months ago, Hank was at large and attacked another dog as well as dragged a child across the gravel who was attempting to break up the fight. Witnesses stated that they had called police during that altercation and the report should be on file with them. During the investigation, the prior incident occurred in July of 2019 and both victim dog and suspect dog Hank were at large and a report was not reported to Animal Care and Control at the time. On October 12, 2019, Mr. Martin, the victim, sent in a statement that advised that he lives in Columbia, however, keeps his boat at the Bar Harbor Marina when this incident occurred. He explained that he was walking towards his car. He saw the attacking dog run behind his wife, whom both of his dogs were on leashes. He heard the attack and rushed to help. He explained that he grabbed the dog, but it pulled real fast and pulled over him. He advised that he tried to keep his dog's throat away from the attacking dog. He advised that the neighbor grabbed the attacking dog and pulled it away from behind, and his dog gripping and biting his dog's leg as it was pulled away. Once held, the attacking dog was calm, while both of his dogs were visibly traumatized. He advised that he had multiple lacerations. His dog Duke had to have surgery and had two deep wounds on his neck. Mr. Martin explained that Duke had a drain placed and sutures. Mr. Martin advised that on October 5th, she was walking their two dogs on leashes and were standing by their car in Blake's Harbor Marina parking lot. She suddenly felt a very hard pull and she looked and saw that her one dog, Duke, being attacked by a reddish-brown dog. She advised that she started to scream and her husband, Dale, tried to stop the fight. Another man came and was able to pull the attacking dog off her dog. The attacking dog had her dog by its neck. As the man was pulling the other dog off, it grabbed Duke's leg. The man secured the attacking dog. She then put her dogs in the car. The police was called and they took possession of the attacking dog until Animal Control arrived. Duke was taken to Catonsville Emergency Vet for treatment and he had lacerations that were sutured and stapled. Mr. Blake and his wife, the owner of the marina, also gave a statement and advised that on the afternoon of October 5th, two of their boat owners, the Martins, were walking their dogs on their marina property when the same pit bull type dog came across the street and attacked one of their dogs. Mr. Martin was able to free his dog, however the dog attacked him and was dragging him across the parking lot when the neighbor Joshua Garman grabbed the dog and rubbed his face into the gravel until it released Mr. Martin. Josh held the dog until the police and paramedics came and Animal Control arrived. The Blakes stressed that they have many boat owners that come to their marina. They have dogs and they are very concerned about this dog getting loose. Mr. Markley, the suspect dog owner, advised that on October 5th at about 5 p.m. he received a phone call from his wife informing him that their dog had accidentally got out and got into a fight with another dog. When he arrived at the scene, he was informed that someone was trying to separate the two dogs and was injured in the process. He spoke to the gentleman who separated the dogs and learned that he was not exactly sure if he was bitten by his dog or another dog. After full review of the case file with the present and priors, Animal Care and Control issued a dangerous order under Article 12-4402, paragraph 2 and 5, and 403, in means to further protect the public. The order was issued, and Mr. Markley did file an appeal. Hank is still in our care and custody. Now, I understand there's quite a few people here that probably wants to speak, but I'm going to let the Martins speak first, and I'm pretty sure that Mr. Blake and his wife would like to speak as well.
Hi, my name is Virginia Martin. They're my dogs. I was just standing by my car waiting for my husband, and this dog came out of nowhere and attacked my one dog. My dog had nothing to do with that dog. It was like unprovoked. I'm very fearful to have that dog come back. I mean, we rent at this marina, and so we feel safe now coming to our boat, but once that dog's released back, I'm not going to be very comfortable even coming to my boat. We always come to the boat with our dog. I mean, there was nothing my dog done. My dog was just sitting there, and all of a sudden there was a dog on top of him, attacking him, and it was at his neck. I mean, the dog didn't really let go. And even when he was being pulled away, he was still trying to grab at my dog. He was ripping at the dog's leg. It's, unfortunate that this happened, but this dog clearly just attacked for no reason. He didn't even, how dogs posture when they see each other, there was nothing. The dog just came and landed on top of my dog's neck. And once the fight was over, the dog was calm. He just sat there like, hey, I'm cool. Let's go. That's how, I'm just very upset by the whole situation. Plus now I have a $400 bill that I shouldn't have to incur. Thank you.
Well, I was coming, down the pier, getting off the boat. Normally my wife takes the two dogs so they can go to the bathroom. And as I was coming, I saw the other dog run behind her. She didn't see him. She had both dogs on the leash, and the dogs were behind a truck or a car, so I really couldn't see I didn't see initially what happened. I just heard her scream. I heard the dogs carrying on, and I ran over and tried to jump in and stop it. And that dog was so strong, he actually pulled me all over the place, and I'm over 200 pounds. But the main thing I am, of course, I wasn't really as upset as I am now at the time, because I didn't realize my dog was hurt so terribly bad that if this other gentleman hadn't pulled the dog off, my dog would have been killed. I've had 3 vets tell me this was a kill attack. The first vet that took care of the dog in Catonsville said this was a kill attack, and if it had gotten its fangs any deeper, it would have ripped the shoulder out of my dog. My vet saw the dog 2 days later when she took the drain hose out of the back of the dog and said it was a kill attack, and the surgeon that saw it 14 days later, my regular doctor, Dr. Morris, took the staples out. She said the same thing. And I mean, I'm really a dog lover, and I feel bad to say anything about any dog, but this is just a horrible, terrible, dangerous dog, and I don't think the owners realized it, but that doesn't really change anything. And I don't know if the dog had its shots up to date. The records that we were given show that it expired in May. Unfortunately, both the Arundel County and Howard County Medical got in touch with me after the dog went through the quarantine period to let me know I didn't have to get any rabies shots or anything. But I don't, based on Maryland law, I don't see how it can't be declared a dangerous dog. It meets all 3 criteria.
My name's Ed Blake, and I'm the owner of the marina. I've kind of witnessed the tail end of both cases, and I tell you, when you see this dog got a small dog around the neck, and there's a bunch of people on a pile pulling it off. One girl, Jason and Jen's daughter, got blood running down her hand. After it breaks up, you start thinking, and I know you guys can't work off to imagine, but we have 11 kids that live in the 6 houses around his house. And I always worried about my grandkids, and then imagine comes out where it happens to an adult. And this is very scary. That's why we're all here. And I am very concerned about this dog.
Ms. Blake, you want to say anything?
Well, the only thing I can say is that there are a lot of kids that walk right past his house to go to the bus stop. It's only 2-3 houses from him, in the morning and in the afternoon. And if that dog gets out, still there's no gate on his fence. It could get any of those. And I have to walk across the parking lot to go to my daughter's house where my grandkids are. I'm afraid to walk across the parking lot. I usually make him take me in our little four-wheeler because I don't want to be out there in that dog aisle. It's scary.
You know, Tim has a gate fence around his house. I don't know if the gate's never been closed, but the gate is always open. So I don't think he's protecting the dog from getting out of the yard that way. At times, he does have different people living over there, and Tim works every day. And what goes to tell you if the dog comes back is a friend or a relative of his that lives over there, are they going to be able to control that dog?
How many times has this occurred on your property?
Twice.
It's happened twice, and I think maybe once my daughter has seen the dog in the back of her yard roaming around.
Joshua, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, so the first time when her daughter was getting drug around, I came out. He was actually laying on top of it with pretty much a full choke on it. The dog, by the time I got over there, the dog still wouldn't stop attacking the dog. And I know neither dog was on a leash, but that dog came out of the house to attack the dog walking home. So it straight came out of the house, attacked the dog walking home, right in front of, pretty much on his property. I had to pull that dog off at that time. Then the second time, when he got it, it was the same thing. The dog comes right out. He says it's the first time it ever happened. He don't know how it gets out. I don't know how it gets out either. But this dog magically gets out of his house and attacks any small animal or animal running by on that road or being walked by on that road. So if he has friends over, like Ed said, they open up that door for an instant, that dog's gonna come out and attack another animal. Maybe my daughter walking my dog down the road, who's to know, but it will do it again.
Larry, I just wanted to add and stuff like that. I didn't want to give it up into the packet so it would intermingle with the present. When we did learn about the incident that happened back in July, the administrator and myself started to do some research and stuff, and we actually found everything. So if you wanted to review it, this is the prior incident that happened. There is a police report in here, photographs, etc.
What was the result of that incident?
We didn't have it. It was not reported to us correctly.
The homeowner also had, Kathy had to take her dog and it had the same lacerations as him. He needed stitches and everything else.
Okay, so animal
And her
control.
dog was Pugsley. That information is actually in there. I pulled as much information I could possibly pull that I put in that packet. I just didn't want to put it in the present packet so you would get
So
it
that's a
mixed
police
up.
report, not an animal
There
control
is,
report?
no, there's actually, the only animal service call was in there was for a prior the dog running at large at one time, not the same date. But then I pulled as much information as possible, the police report that was taken, because county police was called, et cetera. And a lot of the folks are here that can testify to that. The Seidels, I mean, they can testify to that and stuff, and obviously Josh did too. So, but I did pull as much information I could possibly pull. Unfortunately, that report never reached our office.
Anybody else on your side that wants to?
One other thing, the Siddles have 2 dogs, and they always walk them in the front yard. And now, we live next door, now they always have them in the backyard. They won't even take their dogs in their front yard because of this dog.
Most of the neighborhood won't walk.
Okay.
They'll have the front door open and just the door there, and we walk by, and the dog will just like pounce on the door, and we're just waiting for that to break. It also hangs out the the front window.
Ripped the screen out and half the body hanging out the window, barking at anything. It could be a person, an animal, a car. And that alone reduced people from even walking down their own street.
Regarding the incident in July, my 17-year-old daughter was following another little dog that got out. It was like a pug mix. And she had actually bent down in front of the entrance to Blake's Bar Harbor Marina, was looking at the dog's tag when the dog came immediately leaping out of his backyard and jumped on the pug mix and knocked my daughter over. And she has abrasions up and down her arm, scars to this day. It took 4 or 5 people at that time. Several of us were bit, hands get in the way kind of thing. But it, the one situation was enough. This second one is just proof that it will continue.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, and those photographs are in there of her daughter that you can see. She would, it just shows the abrasions because she was dragged on the gravel.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I just worry about my son and his son. They're 8 years old. They're back and forth from my house to the marina. They're screaming and yelling, and I mean, I'm not saying it would totally go after the kids, but you never know.
Right. Okay. Anybody else on the complaining side? Oh, sir?
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm really sorry that this happened. I didn't want anybody to get hurt. It's not my intention to have anybody get hurt ever. I mean, I can understand how some people might think he's dangerous. I personally don't think he is, because he's never went after another person, just other dogs. And, I have records here from the vets, from the Humane Society, saying he's friendly, that he's not aggressive. And I did take it upon myself to install secondary barriers at my front and back door. I got the homeowner's insurance here that says I have $300,000 worth of liability. I am in the process of putting up a new fence. It's just that I work a lot of hours and I just don't have the time or the money all the time. The wind blew my old fence over, so right now I'm doing it in stages when I can afford to and when I have the time. So he's not outside unattended ever anyway. So I just want to put all this behind me. I want my dog home, and like I said, I'm sorry that anybody got hurt. I really don't want that to happen, but I'm doing everything I can to make this right. I got the secondary barriers installed, like I said. I got the homeowner's insurance. I got all the vet records and everything right here, saying he's friendly, he's not dangerous. And, he gets out of the house. He doesn't get out of the yard, number one. But I have the barriers in place now, so he'll never get out of the house anymore. I'm just asking for a modification just so I can bring him home as soon as possible.
What are you asking for specifically?
Maybe potentially dangerous order.
Well, there's 13 points in the order. Which specific ones are you?
Well, the fence is the main one.
Because the same 13 are in dangerous order as in potentially dangerous,
Well,
so.
right now, I can't do the fence right now. I mean, I don't have the time or the money to do the fence, but he's never outside anyway. I have a storm door with a lever handle. That's how he was able to get out. I was at the grocery store, my wife was doing laundry, and he was at the storm door. The main door was left open, and it's a full view glass storm door. So he's looking out, just getting all excited by whatever's happening outside, and he accidentally got out on his own. But now I have the barriers in place, so he'll never get out again.
Excuse me, his dog can't even see where we were. I mean, he's saying his dog's getting excited, and not about our dog, because we're down the hill around a corner. His dog can't even see. His dog got out and ran and must have seen our dog. Their dog wasn't even in sight of his house. So I don't know how it can be his dog's getting excited. And to say his dog's not dangerous after his dog tried to kill my dog, period, he wouldn't let go. To say he's not dangerous is you're just being ridiculous. You're not facing the facts. You have a dangerous dog that's dangerous to the whole
Can you
neighborhood.
address the board, please?
Yeah. Thank you.
Where I was standing, there was a building between where my dogs were and their house. his dog couldn't have seen my dog, so it's like I wasn't parading my dogs in front of his house even. I was standing by my car, there was a building there, my car was by the building. My dogs weren't even visible to his dog.
I didn't mean to say her dog got my dog excited. Any dog that walks by, he gets excited about. That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Pardon, officer, I handed out the evidence over there, but do you remember when the first incident happened? The very first one that's on record? Do you remember?
July
It
27th.
was, yeah, it was July from what we. Of this year.
Of this year?
Of this year.
Yeah, this year.
Within 2 months, some odd days of the passing of the dog.
And just so I'm clear, the records that we have here for Baltimore Humane Society, Hank, his previous name is Gordon?
Yes.
Okay. So that is the same dog?
Yes.
These records.
Did you do something after the first violation or a citation? Did you do anything?
There wasn't a first citation.
There wasn't.
There was not. Wasn't reported, that was the problem.
Wasn't reported?
I did call actually to report it, and I believe I spoke with Officer Thomas the middle of August, early September. And I reported the incident, and I was told that the other dog was at large and Hank was at large, so the two kind of crossed each other out. So.
Right, and that was after the fact. Yes.
So then, I asked her, okay, can you please at least see, since this dog bit me, whether or not it had its rabies? Yes, we'll look into that. Has it been looked into? We don't know, because that was never reported back.
The challenge was when Anne Arundel County PD responded on the 727 incident, the officers didn't know what to do. We asked them, well, what happens from here? Is mandatory quarantine? We don't know, were their words. We'll write a report and it'll get sent over to animal control. None of that ever happened. And
The report is full of multiple
it's
inaccuracies.
inaccurate, but also the officers at the scene were advised of 3 different bites from that incident. Never called back to dispatch, which I was later informed they are legally bound to do so. There are multiple breakdowns here, but the biggest one is with Hank and the inability or lack of desire for the owner to contain and manage the animal.
Predictable nature. He'd be friendly in 5 minutes. 2 seconds later, he's got a dog in a chokehold around the neck, shaking it around like it's a chew toy. So again, the same sort of attack mechanism, clamping down, holding down, shaking it around like it is a chew toy, and not letting go. 4 and 5 people getting him off. Same situation, both times. And I feel like if that was listened to, I feel like the system's set up to fail us as well as the Blake family and the other family whose dogs were attacked. So I know that has nothing to do with the current situation at hand, but the fact is the animal is a dangerous animal. That's been proven twice.
There was no explanation for this picture.
That's just
Oh,
showing his
that's-
gait. He has no gait.
Yeah, that's the lack of gait. The gait that, from
Okay.
the police report, Mr. Markley said was the reason Hank got out, because of Mark's gait, 3.5 months ago,
And it's
which
like
is
that-
still in the same condition.
Just want to clarify one thing, that the only, of the 13 items requested of you, the only one you want relief from is the fence.
Yes, because he's an inside dog. He's never left outside unattended.
Just want to make sure. Thank you.
Right.
Anything else? Any other questions? Board members?
But is that picture that I just held up, is that your property?
Yes,
And it looks like it already has fencing around. You
it
just
does.
need-
I'm doing it in stages. I started to do a vinyl fence, but then it got too costly, so I started with the alternate board fence on one side, and I'm working my way around the perimeter of the property right now.
Okay, because that, from that one particular angle, it just looked like you need to close where.
Right, well, there's woods
Carl is.
behind my house, and there's a partial fence on the left side, but, so I'm working in stages. I am gonna get it done, but, like I said, he's an inside, I'm doing it for myself, not for the dog. But, yeah, he's an inside dog, he's never left the outside anyway. And I did put the, secondary barriers in front of the doors.
Can you explain what a secondary barrier is, please?
Sure. Actually,
Go ahead.
I have pictures.
A secondary barrier?
They're basically gates that go around the front entrance of the door.
Right, so like.
It has a walk-through gate, so yeah, he can't get through there.
It's like a baby gate or something that.
Yeah,
you have to go
exactly,
through
right,
before you go
right,
in the front
right.
door, so the
And it's
dog
screwed,
can't run
it's
up.
screwed to the wall,
Right.
you know, to the floor. It's not going anywhere. He's not getting out of there. I have pictures. I just showed someone.
Let me ask a question. I have records here that show that the dog had his rabies shots in 18, and he was due in May. Has that been updated?
Usually it's a 3-year shot, I believe.
Yeah, it is. That's what it says in my records.
Shot.
They
Says-
only gave him 1 year.
According to this, it says that he's due for his rabies, his 3-year rabies, May 9th.
Okay, I can't comment on
Yeah,
that.
no, that's exactly the information that I had and what he turned in and stuff like that. They only gave the dog a 1-year vaccine over in Baltimore.
Okay.
So has his rabies been updated yet?
Put that up.
Well, he's in our care and custody. He won't get it until he leaves.
So when he bit my husband, he
It was out of date.
Among multiple others.
It's been out of date since May and it hasn't been taken care of.
I hope you go get tested, sir.
I've been cleared by both Howard and Arundel County. I'm just trying to point out, there's been 3 incidents since May and it still hasn't been taken care of.
Yeah. Animal control will not release this dog from our custody without that, I guarantee. Any other testimony before we deliberate? Yes?
I just, one more thing to add, he had this dog for 6 months, I believe, since May, and it attacked 2 dogs already, and he has baby gates, that he says the dog can open the door. Whoa.
That's the storm
The
door. He
gates are
can't even
locked.
get to the storm door. He can't get to the storm door now.
So just to give the community some peace of mind, I understand that you guys don't know what is in this order. And I would just say we're pretty lucky that we're here for a dangerous dog order, not a vicious dog order.
Right.
Based on the wounds going down to tear muscle. So I would say that the fact that the dog can come home is some grace there. And that if this ever happens again, we probably would be looking at a vicious dog order where the dog would be put down.
Okay.
So, so to tell the public what this is all about is that there's a lot more here than just a baby gate at the front door. But there's fencing, harnesses, double leashes with carabiners, a muzzle before going on a walk, these double barriers, and these inspections are done by animal control. These orders are held to give us the right to come and inspect your home and check off every single one of these before the dog can go home. The dog has to be neutered or spayed,
He has been.
microchipped, I know, but I'm just explaining what this order is about. Rabies vaccinated, everything, and then licensed with the county and maintained, and these animals are followed. And we check up, and this is what the order is in place so that we can follow along, even if you move out of county, even if you move out of state, we can follow along with the dog. So if that gives the community, so that you know that even with this order, what this entails. And so it's not just a baby gate at the door. There's more to it. Kennels inside the house that are keyed and locked and things like that. There's many, many pieces here, more than just homeowners insurance and liability insurance. There's lots of pieces to this that it sounds like you're willing to do to get your dog home.
Absolutely.
And you would have to do to get your dog home. And so, but that's, I think, and you're not really, other than the fence, you're not really contesting this. So I appreciate that
Right.
responsibility of, that this has to be done to get your dog home. So if that gives you guys some information about if this dog comes home, what has to be done. So anyway, I felt like you guys are feeling like a baby gate was not enough, and there's a lot more to it.
Thank you for explaining.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Can we contest that he does have to put a gate up before he gets it?
We'll take that into consideration.
Any more testimony before we deliberate?
I tell you, that is a strong dog. I've seen Josh hold that dog the second instance, and it took a lot of power from him to hold that dog back.
That's why we're standing firm.
Understood. Any other questions before we close?
I just had one, but you're okay with the fencing? Is that
Well, it's
what I'm hearing?
it's
Is
not
that-
something I can do overnight. I mean, the dog, he's not an outside dog, he's an inside dog. He's never left outside on tenant
Okay.
ever.
Because there's a clause in the order also that says if you're unable to meet the fencing requirements, must maintain a locked enclosure, dog kennel. Is that option okay with you?
Well, I mean, I could do that, but I would rather just keep him inside. I mean, it's wintertime anyway.
I'm looking between the two requirements. It's either,
Okay,
it's either
that's
the
an option. I
fencing,
could-
or if you're not able to meet the fencing requirements, then you must do this in this order.
In order to get your dog home.
Right, I mean, I could do that if I had to.
And they have to be leashed and muzzled as you come out, exit out of your door.
Right.
And then if you want some outdoor time, then they're in this kennel that's locked. And it's a pen that is all described in here.
Right.
But it's either the fence or that, and that's kind of how that works.
Okay.
So if the fence doesn't come through, we're letting you know how you can get your dog home.
Exactly.
Okay.
That makes sense.
That's the point I was making, is that you say you're working on it. I think that's probably a good idea. But until then, in order to get your dog home, you could do the option where it says if you're unable to meet the fencing while you're working on it, because it looks like, from what you're saying, it'd be a work in progress.
Right.
That option here, I mean, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bulleted items. I don't know if you've read that.
I did.
Okay. That is kind of an immediate option if you want to get the dog home.
Okay.
And then work on the fence, maybe by March, April, the fence will be done, and then,
Okay.
you know.
Well, I was actually digging holes in the yard. I had a gas-powered auger. I kind of hurt my wrist with it because that's the first time I ever used it. But I was working on it, and like I said, so I work 5, 6 days a week every week. So it's a time thing for me.
So you're not against the kennel?
I'm not against it, no. If I have to do it, that's what I'll have to do. But that'd be
that's-
quicker than getting a fence.
It's quicker
Right, exactly.
Anything else?
and safer
Right.
for everybody concerned.
Ready to close?
Okay, we're ready to close for deliberations? Okay, I think what we heard here is that he's willing to comply with either the fence or the kennel, and
Which is
and-
basically upheld.
exactly, we upheld in its entirety the order.
So I'll make a motion to hold the order as is.
I second that.
All in favor? Good luck on your fencing and your kennel, sir.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming.